Breaking news, the markets are experiencing unprecedented volatility. A massive sell-off in early trading has triggered circuit breakers across the board. Breaking news, the markets are experiencing unprecedented volatility. A massive sell-off in early trading has triggered circuit breakers across the board. Breaking news, the markets are experiencing unprecedented volatility. A massive sell-off in early trading has triggered
What's going on? Welcome everybody, welcome to the next live stream. Appreciate everyone joining in. Market is opening now in the next, what's that, couple of seconds. In the next minute or so the market will open. There we go. New York session has officially begun, chat. And we do see a little bit of a retracement to the downside with market open. Nothing substantial, to be fair. A little bit of a buyers and sellers fighting here amongst the 5-minute time frame on the 50-day moving average. We didn't get any crazy spike. I thought we might spike up into our 1 hour resistance, which is this blue zone drawn out over here. However, we did not receive anything drastic. So what I identified is on the daily time frame is our highest area of all time frame that we have some support on. So I've drawn that out. And what I want to do is just delete these previous zones we've had. Of course, the previous live stream trade played out beautifully. As we scale down now on the time frames, I will show you on the 4 hour. Just noted out, we do have 29,000 coming up from major key level or around psychological number, and then of course 28,000 down here. If you drop down to the 1 hour, then we do have a 4 hour support. So I just want to draw out here marquees. 4 hour support, and to make this purple. Just 4 hours. There we go. We have a higher time frame trend line running over here, and that's it. So we'll see if we can get a little break and retest of the highs, possibly with all this bullish momentum we have, and of course looking for the standard minimum 1 to 3. This is a 1 to 4 today I've marked out. Else if we do pull back a little bit deeper, I would prefer the market to come down into our 4 hour support. Just want to make this set. There we go. Appreciate everyone joining in. Welcome. Be sure to subscribe. Let me just type it out for you. Subscribe to be part of the live chat. nothing out of the ordinary, to be fair. I do see some bullish pressure coming in on the 30-minute time frame now, so we'll wait and see if we can possibly get a closure within or above, ideally, our 1 hour resistance zone. There is of course a 30-minute resistance within here as well, so that's why we have to wait for the confirmation of the closure above, not just enter on the breakout, and then from the retest you can look to enter targeting our major key level 29,000. And yeah, not really a chat. We're waiting for the market now to do its thing, decide where it wants to go, and then we simply react. If we do get a rejection, of course I'll wait and see if we get a possible deeper retracement into our 4 hour zone within the next hour or two. However, it doesn't make sense to sit at the charts all day unnecessarily, so no confirmation, no move, no entry. All about being disciplined. In the lower time frames though, I do seem to see some nice bullish pressure coming in, visible through the bottom wicks, and of course we are seeing some bullish market structure and momentum now after we've had that little retracement on market open 4 minutes ago. Just a little bullish push up closer towards our zone, possible entry point. I'm just going to leave a little annotation to show you what I'm looking for or waiting for. Sorry. Welcome to everyone watching live. We are currently on NASDAQ or US 100, top 100 tech companies within the US, and we are just patiently waiting for the market to give us some confirmation, possibly take our buying entry later this afternoon on New York session. If we can get a closure above, a retest, then we'll look to enter towards our major key level. Else if we do reject deeper down towards our 4 hour, I will then look next session possibly, because that will take quite some time I suspect, if that does occur. The next session we can possibly look at that. I do just want to show you guys the buying position we've had previous stream in the 15-minute time frame as well as in the 1 hour. You'll see we've had a beautiful couple retests on our major key level around psychological number quite a few times. However, ultimately did hit our TP2, our full take profit, and played out quite beautifully. Looking to take a similar sized position. This was 210 pips. This one is about 319, so it is a little bit of a longer position, and Nasdaq is at all-time highs, so it's quite interesting to see how people react, confirmations they look for, and how they execute at all-time highs. Me personally, I love to use fib extension levels, as well as of course the key and major key levels on Nasdaq, as well as anything else I trade like gold, silver. So yeah, appreciate everyone joining in and watching. Subscribe so you can communicate with me in the live chat. Let me know what charts you're looking at, what you're trading, if you're thinking of possibly looking for a position later this session. Always enjoy interacting with you guys in the chat. Slowly but surely we're starting to see some bullish pressure and momentum coming in. Let's just see if we can close above our 1 hour resistance, as I've mentioned earlier, and in several streams. No confirmation, no entry guys, no need to rush anything. Do not want to have a situation similar to last stream where we have quite a couple retests upon our entry level and then get taken out unnecessarily when we're in a profit. So I'm just going to leave the position as is, wait for my confirmation if I do get it, and simply execute. My stop loss is relatively low below these lows, and quite tight. I would prefer it being a little bit deeper, to be fair. It will just be difficult to get that 1, 2, 3 if that is the case. So just tightened it a teeny tiny bit, so do still have a little bit of room to breathe, but we're also not, you know, breaking our rules of always at least looking for 1, 2, 3 risk to reward at minimum. This will be great. we simply wait, see if we get a confirmation. Enjoy the little music, non-copyright music playing in the background, and hopefully we're able to execute another successful trade on stream. We do seem to be having a little bit of a rejection of our resistance zone. This is normal. It is a resistance zone after all, so this is a zone where the sellers look to enter or step into the market. I have seen that little top wick coming in, which indicated that sellers stepped into the market, or rather had quite sizable positions that they entered there within this range. Of course, the stop losses are generally just above the high, hence I mentioned wait for the sellers to get stopped out, wait for your confirmation. On the retest, then you will look to enter. Right, don't be hasty, no need to be rushing anything. I do see quite a strong pullback which is occurring right now due to all those selling positions being placed at the resistance zone, and you can see we've had a beautiful engulfing candle on the 5 minute, which ultimately pushed the next candle down. It's quite a strong and nice confirmation to use for those who don't know. An engulfing candle is when the candle simply closes below or above the previous candlestick's body. So ignore the wicks at the top or bottom, but if you purely look at the body, this body almost swallowed it, which is the engulfing trading term, to the downside, and then the next one of course opened up, pushed a little bit further down into the support regions over here. All about being patient as a trader, right? No need to be jumping into that sell unnecessarily either, as we do have quite strong momentum and pushes up, so you don't want to be caught in a fake out unnecessarily. However, as I've mentioned earlier, pulling down deeper into your 4-hour support would be the better or ideal move, as you would have a better risk to reward. It could be safer, as the basics of trading and any investment of course is buy low, sell high. We are at all-time highs, so buyers are also a little bit hesitant and careful when to enter the market. Of course, the average retail trader, this is what I'm talking about. However, that momentum was quite strong, and the market open didn't push down as far or as fast as I expected with crazy amounts of volume, so hence I immediately drew up the case scenario which was closest. In case the market open did break our resistance, we could quickly then look for the entry. It did not occur though, and we are seeing a deeper pullback, so what I'm going to do is remove this position off of my chart and re-evaluate and redraw, not re-evaluate, but redraw the ideal entry, which would be from our 4-hour support, stop loss just below our wicks as well as our support, and our target, ideally the highs we have on the left. Always looking for at least a 1, 2, 3 risk to reward, so keeping a close eye there. That looks about right. And now it's just about the weight. If volume does come in and we do bounce back up, we'll keep that in mind. However, that was quite a strong rejection we've had off our 1 hour resistance, so I'm not too worried about that, to be quite honest. Let's see how the rest of the session plays out. Most likely we'll just play down into our support region, our higher time frame support, which is over here, our purple 4 hour support. It is the safer position to take as well, and we'd have a lot more confirmations, meaning I would be able to scale in with a little bit larger of a position or risk size from this trade. And it is still over 300 pips if you look there, over 1% of market movement, as well as 382 pips or 3,826 points if you want to be exact. That's the measurement us traders use to measure the size of the moves. And yeah guys, enjoy the rest of the stream. Appreciate everyone joining in. And I am seeing a little bit of indecision, which is prevalent through the doji candle over there. We only have about 8 minutes left for this 30-minute candle to close, as well as the 15-minute and 1 hour candle. So what I'm going to do is just relay out that position in case we do get a little bit of a spike with this new 1 hour candle coming in. I'm sure I have at least a 1, 2, 3 risk to reward, and then just wait and see if we can get a confirmation either way. Maybe we get something like this happen, or something like this. A little bit of a rejection and bouncing we're seeing off our 50-day moving average on the 15-minute time frame. I'm assuming once we do get a closure below that 50-day moving average, if we do, then of course I would look for this position and I would remove this off my chart, as we could expect then a continuation down. Else if we continue to the upside as we're doing now and leave that big bottom wick on the bottom, then of course I would remove the bottom one and look more around the position all the way up here. Buyers and sellers really fighting at this level. As you can see, the current candlestick on the 15-minute time frame constantly flipping bullish, bearish, green, red, indicating that this is quite a strong level where the buyers and sellers are fighting now to take control. Buyers did seem to push the market up quite nicely from our 50-day moving average, which is this blue line running. So hence I drew out that top position just quickly again to ensure that it is on the chart. Those viewers, whether you're watching live, mainly for those watching live, so that you don't just rule out that bias. Remember, we react to the market, we don't predict. We are not gamblers, we are traders. Market's seeming to push up quite nicely now. Just waiting on the 6 minutes for this 15-minute candlestick to close. Quite a strong push off our 50-day moving average, as I've mentioned earlier. So it seems like the buyers are back in control as we push back up into our 1 hour resistance, which is this blue block. Simply waiting for a break or closure above, and then on the retest chat is where I would look to enter my possible buying position for today's stream. So I've laid out my take profit levels, chat. We'll be looking to close each of my positions. If you do enter more than one position, if you do enter a larger position, prefer to only enter one trade, that is also fine. You can look to partially close at each take profit level depending on how the trade is running. Of course, I'll be managing the trade live with you guys, and hopefully we can hit a nice take profit 1, take profit 2 on the stream, and so we can go about our day. Seeing quite some nice volume with earnings season for those who want to weigh big companies within the NASDAQ or top 100 tech companies within the US do have their earnings reports coming out this week. So once we've seen quite big moves occur with this beautiful one called last live stream. If you haven't watched, ensure to go into the live trading playlist within my channel, or scroll down and click onto my profile, and after you've subscribed you can go into the live section and look at all the live streams that I've had. Sellers again fighting, trying to push price back down once we entered this 1 hour resistance zone again. Let's see if they'll get that right, or whether the buyers are ultimately correct and still within power, holding market price up and pushing it past all-time highs and creating new ones. Nasdaq does tend, once it breaks all-time highs to the left, it does tend to run quite nicely, hence I've laid out a 300 pip move, possibly, not to say it will happen all today, but even if you do get 100 pips at take profit 1, I will be quite chuffed and happy. Let's see if you can get a little reversal here, the next 1 or 2 couple candles to continue pushing up past our resistance now. On the 1 minute time frame, it would be quite nice. I have just selected an NCS live streaming YouTube save playlist on Spotify, so apologies if I do skip through. We do hear some interesting music in the background. I'm trying not to get more copyright strikes on the channel, and more streams removed and taken off, so trying to keep the streams up, so apologies for the music. I'm going to look at creating my own little playlist for the stream specifically, so apologies for those who might be watching live. If it's not your music taste, it is at least something with no words for the most part, and I try not to make it too loud or overpower my voice too much. Just a fanatic in the chat enjoying the music, he says. All good, my brother, I'm glad you enjoy it. Let's see if we can get this 15-minute candle to push up and close above our 1 hour resistance. The new 1 hour candle did also just open 2 minutes ago, so hopefully we can push up here. Don't like the fact that the previous candlestick closed with, or the 1 hour closed with a little top wick within our zone rather than breaking it. And that's what's occurred. Market structure seems to be fine for the most part on the lower time frames. Let's see if we can get this continuation. 2 minutes left for this 5-minute candle to close. see if I can see if I know anything on this playlist.
Lean into the sounds you love.
Yeah, the bullish volume seems to be coming in slowly but surely. Just under 1 minute left for this 5-minute candle to close. Can we get that closure above that we need? Five-minute candle does not close above our zone, however a new one has opened. Hopefully we can get this 5-minute candle to close above, as well as this 15-minute candle. That would be great. 10 minutes left, just under 10 minutes for this 15-minute candle. Let's see what the 5-minute gives us as well. Buyers seem to push the price straight back up once we had a little bit of a rejection on the lower time frame on the 1 minute, which is good to see. Nice bottom wick being formed. Now we're looking for that pop above, closure, and then upon the retest is where we'll look to enter chat. Maybe finally get that pop above. Just under 3 minutes left for this 5-minute candle to close. There's a pop. Let's see, 15-minute time frame looking quite strong. So this is a little wick I'm looking out for on the 15-minute time frame, just to ensure that we do close above it. 6 minutes left for this candle closure, and of course just about 2 minutes left on the 5-minute time frame. The camera is actually blocking the timer on my TradingView chart on the ultra wide monitor here in front of me. However, I'm looking at the time frame on the PC at the bottom right. So I saw it just changed to 8 minutes past, so 2 minutes left for this 5-minute candle, just under 2 minutes. Nice. Just have a look here. So just under 1 minute left for this 5-minute candle. I'm happy to see that we are still above our 1 hour resistance zone. And within the next 2 candles, usually we do have that a retest back. Of course, I would want this 15-minute candlestick to close above the 1 hour resistance as well. So if we do get that quick retest on the 5-minute time frame, I am not going to enter, as I would rather wait for our higher time frame 15-minute candlestick to close above our 1 hour resistance. Keep in mind, although this would be the 15-minute closure above them, would still not constitute to a 1 hour or 30-minute candle closure even, so it could then still even come back down and retest again. So always remember what time frame you're on, what you're looking at, depending on the time frame you're looking at holding the trade, whether it's a scalping trade, short-term position, a swing trade, which is a long-term position, or just the intraday trade, which I'm doing now, planning to hold for a couple hours, possibly overnight and close in the Asia session or morning session at the latest. However, ideally with day trading, I want to close within a couple hours before my session has closed or ended. Just being patient, hanging on, waiting for that confirmation check. 5-minute candlestick has officially closed and the new one has opened, which is good. I would like it to just hover around here with the next one, then ultimately still closing above it, which would give us a 15-minute candle closure, which then for the next couple candles we can expect a retest for the entry towards our take profit or target levels. Put something a little bit more calm on there. It sounds like I'm at the EDM festival for a second. Just under 3 minutes for this 15-minute time frame candle. And then we should be good with that little retest back onto our 1 hour resistance, where we then look to enter and go long towards our take profit levels. Lovely to see the bullish momentum and pressure. Volume seem to be pretty decent, not too bad. So why not? The opportunity is there and the confirmations is there, chat. I don't see why we shouldn't enter or take this position or trade. Nowhere near where we want to be. Every trade, however, we are one step closer. Couple seconds left there, 28 seconds left, chat, for this 15-minute candlestick to close. Once again, for those who are watching live, I will wait for the retest upon our 1 hour resistance, ensuring that we don't break below quite fast and that we do hold it on the lower time frames, of which I would then look to enter my long position. 3 seconds. Okay, so here we have our confirmation of a closure above. Now we are waiting for the retest and lower time frame. Strong push back down. And very quick as well. There we see the reversal we were expecting. Not quite onto our zone yet though, so just being a little bit more patient. Should see that retest now within the next couple of minutes. Patience pays, all about patience, chat. Buyers quickly pushing that price straight up. As soon as we come back down, meaning I might have to just wait a little bit longer for my retest upon my 1 hour resistance zone, which is fine. Don't mind waiting for my confirmation. Just be patient, chat, no need to rush that entry on the breakout. Just wait for that retest back down onto our zone. For the 30-minute candlestick to close as well. 18 seconds, 15 seconds for this 5-minute candlestick. Once we've had that break above, we are seeming to have quite slow price action now. It's all about waiting for that confirmation, so I don't mind being patient rather than rushing a bad entry, sitting in drawdown unnecessarily. No confirmation, no entry. Simple as that. Massive 30-minute candlestick. Wow. Hopefully on the next one we could possibly get that retest in onto our zone, because I'm not a breakout trader. Just because we've broken out and pulled back a teeny tiny bit to create these bottom wicks, it wasn't my confirmation that I was waiting for or wanted. So I'm very disciplined and strict on my trading rules. If I don't get that retest onto our zone, I will not enter this trade. Almost 100 pips all the way up to TP1 now. After that initial push, quite good to see that volume is strong. Earnings seems to be going good. Seven minutes left, just under 7 minutes for the 30-minute candlestick. Nice little top wick coming in, quite big, indicating a little bit of sellers stepping into the market and actually pushing price down on the lower time frames, as you can see. See if they can push it all the way back down onto our zone, so we can get that retest entry. Apologies chat, I haven't set up my MetaTrader yet on the PC, so Hustle Money Mindset here for the free game. Welcome my brother or sister, wherever you're joining from. I have just taken my camera off for a second as my MetaTrader, as I was explaining, is not yet set up on the new PC, so I have to manually enter on my phone. My webcam is also giving me some issues, so just hang on tight with me. You'll see my beautiful face in a second. More than welcome. Appreciate you in the chat. Where are you joining us from, Mr. or Mrs. Hustle Money Mindset? Currently on the Nasdaq or US 100 chart, waiting for a retest on our 1 hour resistance zone to possibly go long. On the Nasdaq, it is earnings season, so volume seems to be quite nice and strong. We're just being patient, waiting on that little retest so we can enter towards our take profit levels. Mr. Surin, welcome in the chat. Appreciate you tuning in for a second, taking some time out of your day. It's one of the mentees or members in the chat. If you go look over these shorts, he has recently also just requested and received his first payout, if I'm not mistaken, from a prop firm. So glad to see you guys being active. Hopefully you're having a successful and profitable week so far. So, and as I was saying, just waiting for the retest upon my 1 hour resistance level on Nasdaq. Once we do get that, we'll then look to enter and go long towards my take profit levels, with our final take profit or TP3 being at 29,000, which is the next major key level. So just being patient, ladies and gents. Patience pays. Appreciate everyone joining in once again. Come on Nasdaq, give us that little pullback onto our support, resistance turn support, so we can enter our position and enjoy life. Come on Nasdaq, give us that little pullback. Patiently waiting for you. Seems like our bias for the day is at least correct with the buys and the bullish pressure and momentum we're receiving, as well as the market structure that's being printed out onto your screen in front of you on the charts. I'm just itching to enter my position, however we cannot enter if we don't have a confirmation chat, so just be patient with me as we wait for this confirmation and pullback and see if we do get it onto our resistance turn support, so we can then look to manage our position to the upside. Do see some top wicks being formed by the previous 2 5-minute candlesticks, so this could be our quick little retest we've been waiting for. Just be vigilant. Could be a fast pullback down onto our resistance zone, turn support, so just be vigilant, chat. I have turned latency to ultra low as well, so you get as close to live or in real time updates as I speak and execute on the chart. I don't know why or how people stream with a 5 or 10 minute delay. It doesn't make sense to me. What's the point of being live then in the first place? Of course, we do have the 30-minute candlestick that has also closed above our resistance, which is quite nice to see. There's that little pullback now, hopefully all the way down onto our resistance, turn support. Buyers are very dominant, quickly pushing price straight back up after we retrace even just a tiny bit. However, it's all about the confirmation, patience. You don't want to just enter blindly on the breakout and then as soon as we retest, you're in unnecessary drawdown, chat. So appreciate everyone joining in once again. Sir and Hustle Money Mindset, everyone else who might be joined in, thank you once again. We will be live every Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, for the most part, even whilst traveling, so ensure to stay subscribed, put on the bell so you get notified every time I do go live. I do trade NASDAQ and US 30 as well as gold for the most part, so I am live during New York session, not really in the London session in the morning hours. Nice, Soren. Are you planning on buying a 1 mil account, or you want to build it up to a mil? What's the plan? Explain to me, brother.
Heartbreak doesn't just hurt. If you investigate it,
Nice top wick forming there on the 5-minute time frame. Can expect a nice little retest now, or retracement hopefully. 3 minutes and 50 seconds left on this new 5-minute candlestick.
right here on Spotify.
Come on, Nasdaq, give us our little retracement so we can enter. What's this playlist? Goodness. Let's see if we can get a better playlist going on here in the background. One step, hopefully pass it within 2 weeks. Want to buy one. Alright. Don't pressure yourself on the time frames. If it is one step, it is possible, of course. Just ensure your risk management is on point. You don't risk unnecessarily or unnecessary lot sizes if you do not have confirmations to back up the reason why you're entering your trade, of course. But glad to hear you plan on scaling up. It's great. We're just not seeming to get that retest back onto our support zone, previous 1 hour resistance. So I'm not going to enter blindly on the breakout. If we don't get a retest, like I've mentioned earlier, chat, I'm not going to enter this position. Can then just watch the chart run. Typical earnings season, nice volume. I'm glad the direction and bias was at least right for today. However, let's just be patient and see. Maybe we do get a cheeky little retest and confirmation for us to enter. Not sure if you're still watching, Søren. If I zoom out here, maybe on the 15-minute time frame. This was previous stream. You can go back onto the channel in the live playlist I've created. You can go to the previous live stream or under live and check how we entered and waited for this position. We were in drawdown actually for most of the stream and then finally went back into profit. I told the trade or the stream, sorry, that I am leaving the trade running to my full take profit. We just had another retest and then a beautiful spike up towards our final take profit. Nice little 210 pip move. So yeah, hopefully we can get another little big size move. We've had a quick pop up. Hopefully we can get a nice quick little retest and a retracement back onto our 1 hour resistance turned support, hopefully. But yeah, if I don't get that retest, I'm not going to enter this position personally, as it then does not follow my rules. all the way up into take profit 1, meaning almost 100 pips, or it is officially 100 pips from our 1 hour zone, which is quite a strong size move. Hopefully now we can get a little bit of a rejection, since we've only been moving up basically after that one candle retracement. Patience pays, ladies and gents. This is the boring part of trading. Sitting on your hands and waiting. So in what instruments or charts are you looking at trading on your one-step account? Are you also looking at trading Nasdaq potentially, or you're going to stick to gold? I know you've been doing really well on the gold recently. And the gold. Alright, that's great. I mean, if you enjoy trading gold and you find consistency, it makes sense to stick to it. If it's not broken, don't fix it, you know what I mean? Of course, if you go to trade other instruments, you must just keep in mind your lot sizes will change, as the contract prices will be different. So just be aware of that when you are looking at other instruments, maybe that the contract prices are different. Obviously, usually more expensive on gold, meaning your lot sizes or your risk is generally lower on gold compared to other instruments. So yeah, just remember that. "15 minutes for this 1 hour candle to close. Maybe on the next 1 hour candlestick we could then get that little retracement back. Possible confirmation to then enter the trade. Again, if it's just going to continue running, there's no point for me risking my capital unnecessarily. So just being patient. If I don't get my confirmation, I'm not going to enter. As you can see, we did seem to have a little retest on this candle, but it just quite did not come retest our resistance zone. So to me, that's not a confirmation. Even on the 5 minute, we've missed it. Usually on the lower time frames, you will see it, and then on the higher time frames, the wick won't show. So for that simple fact that we did not have that retest of our resistance, I'm not in this position as of yet. Hopefully I can go to NAS as well as USDT. Yeah, I enjoy NASDAQ quite a lot. I mean, gold's good if you can manage your risk and be consistent with gold. It's pretty similar market movement or size moves, excuse me, or with NASDAQ and USDT. So I don't think you'd have a problem. Just remember that your lot sizes you have to be careful with. Not really if you're going onto NASDAQ from gold, as we'd actually up your lot size to maintain that same risk. So yeah, with a 100 pip move up into our directional bias, which is good. It is earning season, as I've mentioned, so a lot of the companies within the NASDAQ are reporting earnings, whether they are profitable or not. All that news gets released. That of course also does fuel or pump the market. We are currently looking at if the earnings do come up positively. I do believe we've had Uber this week play out, Spotify, a bunch of big company names, hence we've had quite the pump if you look on the higher time frames from down here. This was all just this week, so only one trade that was taken, however did end up going our way, so I'm quite chuffed and happy about that. Keeping the winning streak alive on their channels always nice. So yeah, do see a bit of a top wick coming in on the 5 minute time frame, which is nice. We could possibly then see a retracement back down onto that blue resistance zone we've been eagerly waiting for all stream long. I see that 5 minute candlestick has flipped bearish, which is quite nice. 37 seconds left on it. Maybe the next candlestick, the next 5 minute candle that opened up, it could pull back down into our support region, possibly retest off of our resistance zone as we've wanted or expected and have been waiting for, as well as the 50-day moving average. Would be quite nice to see a little bounce off there on the lower time frames. Nice little top wick on the 30-minute candle. Also 8 minutes and 52 seconds left for the 30-minute candlestick to close. So it will be quite nice to see a deeper pullback to not only form the retest on our zone, but also a nice bottom wick on the 30-minute time frame. We are back on the cam chat. Market really taking its time to come back down and retest. Like I've mentioned, if I don't get that retest, I'm not going to enter, as I won't have my confirmation. And we just seem to be printing bullish market structure, so don't want to be caught in unnecessary fake outs. It does seem like on the 1 minute time frame we could be forming a little bit of a possible head and shoulders. Again, I'm only taking it with a grain of salt as we are on the 1 minute time frame. Ultimately though, we are breaking the highs and forming new higher highs and higher lows, which is bullish market structure, hence we see the push to the upside. 30-minute time frame looking really bullish. However, we do only have about 6 minutes left for the next 1 hour candlestick to open. So who knows? With the next 1 hour candlestick, we could have quite a fast or a deep retest onto our support, or form a little support on our previous resistance zone rather. Excuse me, to give us that confirmation. Beautiful push, strong volume from our resistance zone, over 114 pips. We've had a move to the upside, so we also might not get the retest this session, who knows. For the last 15, 30, 45, an hour and 15 minutes, we've just had straight bullish market structure or market price being printed. So in my opinion, a little pullback is, I wouldn't say necessary, but evident and not far-fetched. Does line up quite nicely with what I'm seeing on my chart. So I'm just being a little bit more patient. We've been live for just over an hour and 26 minutes now, chat. So like I've mentioned, I also don't want to be sitting here for 4 to 8 hours unnecessarily, as it defeats the purpose of what we're here for, is to execute our edge, make our profit and move on, go about enjoying our freedom with our day, right? Don't want to be stuck here. Not that there's anything wrong sitting at your computer all day, but if we don't get the move, we don't get the move. There's no point to unnecessarily sit and waste not only the viewer's time but my time sitting here. So let's just give it another 45 minutes and see what the chart does give us. We could still have a nice pullback and confirmation as that moving average slowly creeps up on the 5-minute time frame. Just hanging the patience base.
They don't teach you this at school, but the whole of growth conversations will.
Really nice pumps to the upside today on Nasdaq. Happy that I'm not having no FOMO and being patient to execute my edge, because all those little retail traders who entered on the breakout and are still holding will definitely not be smiling once they are in a little bit of drawdown. Saren, if you're still watching, is there anything you're looking at on gold today? So we did have quite a big push on gold as well. However, I won't be trading gold for the simple fact that we do have that title and setup on Nasdaq already. Just by quickly glancing over it, I do see that we've had some quite strong bullish. So I'm expecting a pullback into our daily resistance, which is this yellow block. The low of that is at 4,822. So that's my little 5 cents on gold, if you were wondering. Back to Nasdaq, back to the chart we're trading. We do see a little bit of a top wick, which is promising. Maybe we can get that retest off the all before stream ends to enter that position to go long today. Anyone in the chat take any trades this week so far, or not yet? Who's sitting out with the earnings? Been out for any specific reason? Have you not had much free time to spend time on the charts and have a look at it, or the volume maybe with the earnings coming in and out? But you do say you trade gold mostly, so first week being back, I see. Bullish candle of the bullish candle of the bullish candles being printed on this chart. Very minor pullbacks. At 5 minutes, 50-day moving average has finally come into our zone now. So let's see if we can get a little deeper retracement in Nasdaq. That would be lovely, Mr. Market Maker. To be honest, I've been out due to a lot of things, but mainly a lot of news. That's great. Stay disciplined, brother. No need to jump into trades if you have crazy news events playing out. I've also not really been too active on the streams, you can see if you click on the channel and go to the live section, I've not had too many live streams or trades within our live streams either. However, closer to the end of the month, I think we'll be starting to execute a couple more trades and hopefully continue our little winning streak that we're on. My bad, I see I'm muted. What I was saying is I do find when price moves up quite fast and steeply, horizontally, or vertically, my bad, I do tend to find that we do retest quite quickly when we do come back to your resistance zone and it turns to support. So I'm just having a look on the lower time frames and staying vigilant. I do not want to miss that retest. I'm not going to enter a buy stop or anything like that. I'm going to enter manually on my phone, so just bear with me if the camera does go off for a second or two or a minute, whatever the case may be, if we do end up getting that retest. Seems like we're just rejecting and bouncing off of our 5-minute support zones the whole time. Once again, it's not enough confirmation for me personally to be entering the trade, so I'll personally be sitting out until, or if we do get that retracement back down into our blue block or zone I've drawn out. For those of you who might be watching currently live and are not active or part of the chat, feel free to subscribe down below, and then you're more than welcome to, after 60 seconds I believe it unlocks and you're able to type and be active with not only me but the participants and members in the chat and discuss some trading if you'd like. I always enjoy talking to like-minded individuals, people with similar interests, so I do see we have a couple people currently watching live. Four minutes ago we also did have that closure of the 1 hour candlestick, so let's see what this new 1 hour candlestick can pull off. Do we get the retest finally back onto our resistance and turn it into our support and entry level? Let's see. A closure below our 5-minute support here will be quite nice, as that could signal a deeper pullback onto our 1 hour zone, which is what we've been waiting for over an hour and 37 minutes. There we we go, quite a fast pullback we are receiving currently. Be vigilant, guys. Market is coming down. There we go, almost there, just a little bit more. There we go, it's getting there. Seren in the chat. Trend, yeah, something like that. Just be patient, guys. You see all those little retail traders who are entering on the breakouts all up here thinking they're clever. An unnecessary drawdown now. Hopefully it doesn't reverse now before touching our resistance zone. But that was quite a nice quick pullback. As I did mention, I was expecting quite a fast pullback. It's getting there though, just a little more. I do see this blue zone does fill up quite nicely in the spot of an imbalance or fair value gap, whatever you want to call it. In this level, people will generally say you have an imbalance or fair value gap, whatever you want to call it. It also does line up quite closely with our blue 1 hour zone. So hopefully we can just get that last little bit of a retracement. If it runs without us, it runs, but like I said, no confirmation, no entry on my part. Does seem like we're getting a bit of a pullback now off this 5-minute support. No risk, no Dubai. No capital, no Dubai either, my brother. Remember that. Also mean to get a bit of a pullback and buyers stepping in off this 5-minute support we were talking about earlier. 49 seconds for this 5-minute candlestick to close. If we do close above this region, I could look at entering a very small position, for the simple reason that then we will be expecting quite a fast reversal as we have that bottom wick being filled or formed on the higher time frame. I'm still just going to be patient though, as on the 1-minute time frame we could see a little rejection of our 50-day moving average, blue line moving right there, and a little deeper pullback is still possible. Also, we don't trade or enter off of moving candles. There's still 10 seconds for this candle to close, so just hang in there, guys. I'm still going to wait. We haven't had that retest, so Seren laughing in the chat. Yeah, my brother, no capital, no go nowhere. Capital's king, you have to preserve that capital at all costs. You don't want to be risking unnecessarily. Wait for your confirmation. Don't want to be caught up with all these little retail traders who's in here, who's experiencing a pullback now. So no barcode, no sir. Once we do pull back into our support region over here, our blue zone, you can with risk management look to execute or enter with me if you'd like, if you do have confirmations yourself. once again. I'm purely documenting my own trading journey. I'm not telling anyone what to do. I'm not providing signals. I'm just trading live to prove to you guys that you can consistently not only call moves within the market, but profit off of the knowledge that I do provide. Appreciate all of you currently live. We do have an average view duration with over 30 minutes currently, which is quite nice to see. I truly appreciate all the support, guys. Love to see us hit 5,000 to 10,000 subscribers close to the end of the year. For those who are watching and listening, what are some things I could look at giving away once we do reach, let's say, 10,000 subscribers? What would you prefer me giving away? Funded accounts, live capital, I don't know, some merch, mentorship, getaway. What would you guys like for me to give away once we hit that 10k mark? Do see that market is pulling down quite nicely now towards our point of interest, which is this blue zone. Was the SB in the chat saying for 10k subs we should give away 10 bags? Are you talking rands, dollars? What are you talking? What currency are we talking? Rands, dollars, euro, Thai baht, Zim dollars, Chinese yuan. What currency are we talking, Mr. SB? I'm assuming rands. What's that, like a $500? Could do something like that. Do a little, what would we do though? Like a live spin the wheel or something on the subscribers or people in the live chat or something like that. Could be a move. Only if we do hit that within or before 2027. So chat, if you heard it here live, if I do hit 10,000 subscribers before January 1st, 2027, I'll be giving away $500 on a lucky draw or spin the wheel on the subscribers or something like that. I don't think lots of channels reach 10k subscribers within their first 12 months or first year, so I suppose it could be a little way of giving back to the viewers who do support me. Doesn't seem too unrealistic. $500 at 10k subs if we do reach that before January 1st, 2027. Can this chart just get to my entry zone, please? Almost 2 hours on the live stream, patiently waiting for our confirmation chat. If this doesn't show you discipline, I don't know what does. Mr. SB with the joke of the stream saying, and a bonus for best viewer me. Nice little top wick seeming to come into play quite quickly. Can sellers push this price below our 5-minute support towards our point of interest or not? Slowly but surely the market is getting there. Let's see if we drop down. It does seem like we found a bit of support here around 28,732. Just hoping we can get another little rejection of the 50-day moving average, which is this blue line moving over here. So we can just pull down a little bit deeper into our point of interest. Really taking its time today to retest. There's the flip on the 1 minute. Can we hold it though? Did close below it. Another possible little retest on the 1 minute time frame of this little wick, as well as the 50-day moving average. And then boom. I'd love to see a continuation now towards our point of interest. We see the top wick has come in now. There's that little push down. We need that break of structure or closer below our lows now for us to continue towards the downside. Else this is just a normal pullback before we continue pumping. Seems like we have respected our 5 minute zone. So chances are looking slim now if this 5 minute candlestick does not reject off the highs of the previous one to the downside now. That will most likely just continue pumping. I'm just being a little bit more patient. As we see, we have had a quick flip now on the 1 minute of our 50-day moving average once again. So this could be the nice little breakout we've been waiting for, as we see strong engulfing candle to the downside. There we finally get that push below that trend, as well as the 5-minute support zone. Would love to see a continuation now towards our points of interest. Almost 2 hours. As you can see on the 5-minute, we've had that beautiful flip. We are currently already engulfing the previous 5-minute candlestick's body, which is visible as we are below that line. Once again, we are still within the bottom of our 5-minute zone, so this could just be a bottom wick, but that top wick did seem like a pretty nice rejection. Of course, that is a bearish hammer candlestick pattern, as well as a bearish engulfing candlestick, as we see the following one now engulfing it as well, with a nice little push towards our point of interest, guys. So we are getting closer, we are getting there. Thought it's a perfect little tune. It's called Take Profit. If the chart does finally allow us to find some support in our blue zone, we can then finally look to enter and possibly hit a take profit today. Quick rejection and bottom wicks being formed there on the 5-minute. Towards the upside, we are rejecting off of the lows on the 1-minute time frame, and still within our 5-minute support. So I'm just going to leave it drawn out over here, just so we can ensure that within the next minute and 38 seconds we do indeed end up closing below it. As you can see, quick flip back up. Could this be the 1, 2, 3, 4th retest of our 50-day moving average? Could quite possibly be. Strong bottom wick though, indicating that we have had some buyers step into the market at this level. And just being a little more patient. I do see the 30-minute bottom wick as well as the 1 hour. However, we do still have a whole 35 minutes before this 1 hour candlestick closes, which is more than enough time. If we do end up breaking the highs on the lower time frame, I will then possibly look to enter off of a break and retest of that 15-minute resistance at the all-time highs, but just being a little bit more patient in case we do get that pullback that we have been waiting for. Wow, strong push on the lower time frame, right back down. Come on, Nasdaq. There's that top wick of the highs. Can these sellers step in again and take control, continuing to push price towards our point of interest now? Can we have this 5-minute candlestick flip bearish? There we do get the flip of the 5 minute. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, my stop loss is at the lows, just in case we do get a little liquidity hunt, stop hunt, fake out, bottom wick, whatever you'd like to call it, being formed, that I just don't get stopped out unnecessarily before that reversal. Nasdaq coming very close to our support zone or resistance, but we'd like to turn support, just not quite there yet. Very close though, and it does seem like we've filled this little fair value gap imbalance, so I'm being very wary this pullback now to the upside. Very close, very close. Come on, Nasdaq. How far are we away here? Not very far at all. 1 minute left on this 5 minute candlestick, which is what's worrying me a little bit. It could indicate that this pullback is done. However, the 1 minute candlestick did pull back now beautifully. Getting very close to that point of interest. "13 seconds left for this 30-minute candle to also close. Within the last couple seconds, we do tend to have those quick little moves, so just being extra vigilant. Then we did have a closure. It did end up engulfing the previous one, which is what we like to see. Hopefully we don't get a quick reversal to the upside now, as that would force us to wait for a break and a retest of our 15-minute or 30-minute resistance at all-time highs. Quick little push back up. Can the sellers step in again and push our market's price back down one more time? Just into our little blue zone is all I'm asking for. back up onto our 50-day moving average. Does seem like we have already broken above pretty quickly, so this trade or market might just force us to rethink our entry point. And if we do, like I've mentioned several times now, for those watching live, end up breaking the highs, we'll have to wait for a closure above our blue zone over here, which is our 15 as well as our 30-minute resistance. Let me just draw this out. 15/30 minute resistance. And essentially just waiting for the same concept, break, closure above, and then upon the retest, if we do find support and hold within the zone, look to enter towards our final take profit. I see we have closed, or not closed, my apologies, we have pushed up and engulfed the last 3 to 4 candlesticks on the 5-minute time frame. So it does seem like we'll get a pull back up into our 15-30 minute resistance zone that I have annotated on our chart. Who knows, maybe we get a quick little push back down, but does seem like we have closed above these highs on the left, so Nasdaq, once it reverses and continues pumping to the upside, does not tend to reverse for much longer. Of course, I would have loved and do still prefer the market coming down a little bit deeper, and it is still possible. Over 45 seconds left, we'll see what this 5-minute candlestick does end up telling us. I see that we are forming a tiny top wick off the previous 15-minute resistance, so this could still be good, as we still have over 10 minutes left on the 15-minute candlestick to close. I would then ideally want this current 15-minute candlestick to close either within our blue zone down here or up here, and then the following one, if we do push up, of course above, I would then have to wait on the 5-minute time frame to see if we can get that retest entry, and off we go. Seeing some slow price action currently as we slowly seem to trickle back down towards our points of interest. Let's see if we can drop down below our 50-day moving average again, so we can have that little bit of a deeper pullback and confirmation. Once again, patience pays, ladies and gentlemen. I did not get my confirmation, which I was waiting for, all stream, which is the retest of that blue zone, which is our higher time frame, to be more specific, 1 hour resistance, or more specifically supply zone. So if we don't get that retest, I do see the 50-day moving average coming up quite nicely now. I'm not going to enter, rather than wait for a break and retest of our all-time high resistance zone, which is our 15 and 30 minutes resistance. All about discipline and capital management, guys.
Bring the beats with premium. Download.
Do seem to have had a little bit of a rejection off of our 5-minute highs here on the left, with that beautiful bottom wick being formed now. Could quite possibly be a push back up into our 15-minute resistance, if we do end up engulfing the previous candle, of course. One minute left for this 5-minute candlestick to close, as well as this 15-minute candle. I think this 15-minute candlestick will be able to give us a little bit more information. Of course, we can see that we have, if we do end up closing in the next 40 seconds above this region, above our previous 15-minute candlestick's body, this would then be an engulfing candlestick, and then would ultimately form a little demand zone or support zone in here, which we can expect a possible retest within to form a little W sort of pattern. I have indicated or drawn out our new 15-minute support, as that 15-minute time frame candle did end up engulfing the previous one. Hopefully we can get a little bit of a pullback. There we go. Into our zone, preferably even deeper onto our EMA and blue zone would be even better. But let's see, maybe it just reacts off this little blue zone and we can look to enter. Strong push back down onto our 15-minute support as we speak. Just have a little bit more patience, chat, as we're always able to pull down a little bit deeper. Since we are quite close to our 1 hour zone, I'm just going to sit tight a little bit longer. 30 seconds left for this 1 minute candlestick to close. Seems like we are getting a pullback down deeper, very close towards our 1 hour zone now. Come on. Come on, just a little bit more. New 1 minute candle has opened. Wow, what a push back down. I'm going to just remove the 15 minute zone since we are very close to this 1 hour zone. And what I am going to do is just be very vigilant as we come into this 1 minute support region. We can wick quite quickly from here. But once again, like I've mentioned, all stream long over 2 hours and 20 minutes. We've been waiting for confirmation to retest back down onto our higher time frame zone. So it would be quite lovely to see, since we are closer than we were for majority of the stream. We do see that bottom wick coming in, chat, which is a bullish sign. Just going to hang in there as the traders enter buying positions. Of course, we do get that push back up. Just going to be ever so patient, just a little bit more. And you see that top wick being formed quite quickly with the new 1 minute candlestick. I'll just skip this, I don't know what song is playing in the background. Keep in mind we are within a 15 as well as a 5 minute as well as a 1 minute support. So a big jump or pump up from here is possible as 3 time frames support zones overlap. However, it's beautiful to see sellers pushing their price back down with the top wick being formed and us ultimately closing bearish there. Straight back down with the next candle. Almost there, chat. Very close to our 1 hour zone. Very close. Back into the support over here on the 1 minute time frame. We have bounced off our 50-day moving average over here already on the 5 minute. 26 seconds left. Boom, bounce straight back up, 20 seconds left, okay. Sellers then pushing price straight back up. Buyers and sellers clearly fighting here at this level of support. As you see that bottom wick coming in, then disappearing, coming in, disappearing. So showing us that this is some form of support being found here. We did close with a little bit of a bottom wick. Following candle opens. One minute and 39 seconds left for the 5 minute candlestick, and 1 minute 34 seconds rather for the 1 minute. We do see a strong pushback up from buyers as they step into the market due to the natural pullback we've had. Not quite tapped our zone yet though, ladies and gentlemen. Bounced off our EMA as it did end up coming above our zone. Not our zone quite yet. We do have a 5 minute support at the bottom of the zone. However, there is quite a while away, so let's just wait and see how this 1 minute candlestick closes. If it does close to the upside, this would then be a morning star candlestick formation on the 1 minute time frame, which is a bullish confirmation. just going to hang on and sit on my hands for a minute longer, guys, as we have 26 seconds left for this 5-minute candlestick to close. Does seem though like we will be bouncing off of our little 15-minute support zone. Again, we did get the retest of our moving average on the 5-minute time frame. However, we did not tap our zone as of yet, so I'm just being vigilant, because when Nasdaq pumps, it really does take a while for it to stop. This is very possible. However, I would prefer Nasdaq to pull back down deeper, which it does seem to be doing. There we go, there we go. Boom, into our 1 hour zone. Let's see if the support is now confirmed. Quick bottom wick, 20 seconds left. Let's just give this candlestick a little bit more time. 14, 13, 12, it's pulling up really quickly. 10, 5. So we have retested. So with the next candlestick pushing back down into our zone, I'm just going to make sure that we have found support. Shouldn't close below this wick. Market is still pushing back down a little bit deeper. I'm going to just give it 1 more minute to breathe, chat. I do see, or I am aware that we do have a 5-minute order block over here. So if we can just tap into that order block, I think I will then rather enter a little bit deeper down. It would increase my risk to reward as well, which is great. 1 second. Alright, I'm going in. I am in this position, or in this trade rather. So what I'm going to do is just do this, move this a little bit over. And see, there we tap our order block on the 5-minute time frame. Let's see if we can hold this area of support or get stopped out, chat. Holding a little bit of drawdown. I would not like us to close or continue below this blue zone, of course. That would not be a good sign. However, it is possible for us to wick and reverse back up into our zone. There's that bottom wick coming in. So for those who might be watching live, that would be your ideal entry right there. So you won't hold your drawdown, which I'm doing now. I'm not complaining though, as we are forming what seems to be a nice bottom wick rejection. Still staying within our previous 1 hour resistance turned support. Hopefully we can just hold this and now start reversing or flipping to the upside towards our take profit levels. So I am in this trade currently, and we are holding a 20 pip drawdown. Nice little bottom wicks coming in once again. This new 1 minute candlestick I expect to come back down, and then I would love for it to flip bullish and engulf the previous one. Again, this would be a bullish confirmation. If it doesn't and it just continues to the downside, of course we would then be wrong and ultimately close to our stop loss, possibly taken out if we can't seem to hold with this 50-day moving average on the 15-minute time frame. So we are close to stop loss and we're still patiently holding, as we can still flip back. Nice bottom wick. I don't like the fact that that 1 minute did close below our zone. However, our 5 minute candlestick still has 3.5 minutes left. So it's not confirmed that we are totally wrong as of yet. Still holding this drawdown, chat. That rejection of our 1 hour zone is not what we really wanted to see. Right, we did have that 5 minute wick back up and close within it. However, on the 1 minute time frame, you can see that once we've closed below it, we wicked back up and rejected it, and we are continuing to the downside. So this is looking like we could almost be stopped out here if we don't get a reversal pretty soon. It is one of those things, chat. We can see that our 15-minute candlestick did also end up closing within our zone, and then the new one that wicked down onto our 50-day moving average has not closed as of yet. 30-minute also did close within our zone, indicating that it does respect it as support, as well as our 1 hour. So quite a quick sneaky little stop hunt, what it seems to me, as we've had quite a few time frames line up and close within our resistance, previous resistance, now turned support, and again resistance as we are currently below it. So quite unfortunate to hold this drawdown, however quickly seeming to reverse, as we can see on the 5 minute time frame, that bottom wick is coming in quite nicely. 1 minute and 48 seconds left for this 5 minute candlestick. So clearly what I have missed is that on the higher time frame chat, on the 4 hour, we have a massive 4 hour wick, and there's only 54 minutes left for this candle to close. So clearly that was our fake out to the top, and I am expecting for us to hit stop loss and come pull back down deeper onto our 4 hour support, or 28,000, or even deeper onto our daily, as I do see that that is an insane top wick on the 4 hour candle that I've missed, because I was purely focused and looking on the lower time frames, waiting patiently for this candlestick to come retest back into our 1 hour resistance. So that is a mistake on my part. I hope I don't get stopped out now and I am completely wrong, but it does seem like we have quite a massive top wick that has formed on the 4 hour time frame, which is something quite concerning, to say the least. Will this be our first little loss on live? Quite possibly. Not the end of the world though, chat. This does happen. I have followed my process and my edge, so if it takes me out, I won't be worried at all, to be quite fair. It's not nice to lose capital or money, of course, but you do have to put some money on the line. Like Mr. SB in the chat said, no risk, no Dubai. And the famous saying goes, no risk, no Ferrari. So it does seem like we are pulling back down very strongly into our higher time frame support, or rather 15-minute support, as well as our 5-minute support over here. Can we wick back up and be saved by the bell, or is it going to take us out? For those who are still watching or listening in live, maybe in the positions themselves, let me know, what do you think? Are we going to get stopped out? Well, even professionals make mistakes. They're getting very close to that stop loss. I can't believe I didn't keep an eye on the higher time frames whilst waiting for that retest now. Rookie mistake, but it does happen. How long left? Let's see, 51 minutes for that 4-hour candle. A little bit of a bottom wick being formed here. Not counting my chickens before they hatch though, as we've just basically been moving down into drawdown since I've been holding the trade. So the life of a trader, baby, gotta love it. Just about to take us out, it seems. Oh, it's a little reversal. Patience pays, chat. Let's see. We are quite close to stop loss. However, we do seem to be finding a little bit of a reversal here. Can we hold it? Is the real question. Still holding this trade patiently. And it does seem like we were a little hasty on that entry chat. Market merely pips away from taking us out now. Patiently holding. Is it going to tap us out? Does seem so. And there we go. I'm officially out, chat. First little L on stream. 1 out of 6. 5 for 6. I'll take it. Can't win them all. We do make mistakes. And the chart doesn't always go the way we want them to. I appreciate each and every single one of you joining in once again. Mr. Surin, Hustle Money Mindset, everyone else in the chat, and as well as that might be watching this as a replay afterwards. Let this be a lesson that not every trade is a winning trade, and that professionals do take losses too. It's not the end of the world. This is why we use risk management, so that we are able to come back and not have to make an emotional decision or overtrade. That's going to be my one trade for the session, one trade for the day. I'm going to call it. I appreciate each and every single one of you joining in once again. And yeah, maybe we have a successful week further. It's only one loss out of the 6 trades I've taken so far live on stream. Appreciate you, sir, and I see you in the chat. Yes, sir. Thank you for staying through all the way. Truly appreciate it. Yeah. Little loss. We live and we learn. Earning season, baby. The volume seems to be back. I've been waiting patiently since January. The market volume was quite slow February, and in March it seems to be picking up quite nicely. I've also traded quite nicely on gold, caught a couple positions. With that being said, I'm going to call it a day. Appreciate once and for all everyone for their last time. Hopefully I'll see you in the next stream. I'll look to stream tomorrow New York session once again, possibly enter trade. If not, I'll see you in the next one. Ensure your bell is on so you get notified every time I go live. Like, comment down below what you'd like me to give away for 10,000 subscribers, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay safe.